Joining me tonight from the Capitol, Texas Republican Congressman Brian Babin. Welcome back to the show, sir.
Thank you, Kennedy. Good to be with you.
So I want to ask you this. Set the scene for me. Obviously, 10 Republicans voted to impeach the president on this article. 0 Republicans voted that way in 2019. So please tell me, were you having conversations with some of your colleagues, and were other people on the fence? Were they torn?
Well, you know, I was surprised at a couple of those, but I wasn't at most of them who voted with the Democrats on impeachment. But you know what, Kennedy? They started talking about impeaching this president on January the 20th, 2017. The Washington Post came out and said the campaign to impeach President Trump begins now. And they continued on for 4 straight years. We went through the Mueller report, the fake Russian dossier. We went to the FBI, DOJ, you name it. It was going on. They were after this man. They were after his friends and his family. And to do this today, when he had about 6 or 7 or 8, whatever it is, 8 days left, is just absurd. And they impeached him without any evidence. They had no due process. All they had were news reports. And I looked at the transcript of what he said, because he was still speaking at the time of the insurrection, they called it, when I was on the floor of the House of Representatives. And I read that, and he did not, he got his audience excited, because incitement is a word that I would say if you're going to impeach people and remove them from office for inciting, I would say that probably 3/4 of the entire House of Representatives, especially the Democrat side, would be impeached. And the hypocrisy of what we've seen over this, and don't get me wrong, I was absolutely horrified and opposed and condemn the attack on the 6th when I was on the floor of the House of Representatives. But that type of violence and more went on across this country for months on end, and a lot of these Democrats never condemned it. In fact, they excused it and even encouraged it in many ways. And so the hypocrisy is just, it's beyond belief.
I agree with you, and I condemn the riot violence throughout the entire summer. I'm from Portland, Oregon, and I was heartbroken to see not only what some of the rioters were doing and the ways they were harming other Portlanders and police officers there, how they were vandalizing private and public property, but the DA wasn't charging anyone. So he was feeding this lawlessness. But I also had a hard time when Proud Boys would go to Antifa rallies, because they knew exactly what was going to happen. They knew that they were going to inflame the situation. And when the president decided to hold a rally steps from Capitol Hill, knowing that this crowd felt like the election was stolen from him and from them, and that there was a convened session to certify the election, and, you know, saying you have to stop this, you have to fight this, you know what's going to happen. That's not bringing tensions down. And for that, the president is culpable, and he is responsible because his speech was irresponsible in that regard. But I agree with you. I think there is a very clear line and a very clear legal framework for what incitement and sedition is. And I agree that we have to have due process in order to define those. So what happens now? Where do we go from here, Congressman?
Well, of course, this is going over to the United States Senate. It's going to be up to Leader McConnell. In fact, it soon will be, after the 20th, will be Leader Schumer. And so we will see. It takes a 2/3 vote to convict the president. And there's a lot of opinions. Look, I'm a dentist. I'm not an attorney. I'm not a constitutional attorney. But how do you remove someone from office who is already out of office? I keep hearing that this is all a complete waste. And think about this, Kennedy. It took them months and months for these Democrats to come together and compromise so that we could get a COVID package out for the American people.
That's another thing that's frustrating for families and business owners. You know, they're waiting for relief, and Congress is impeaching someone who's gone in less than a week. It's very confusing for a lot of people. Are you going to attend the inauguration?
I am not going to be able to attend the inauguration.
Me neither. All right, I will not see you there. Best of luck to you, and please give my love to your family, Leif and Jenna and the kids. I adore them.
Thank you very, very much, Kennedy. God bless.
You too. Thank you, Congressman.
Okay.